I'm Mark Thompson here for Cenk, and there is a firefight going on in California's 48th. Dana Rohrabacher, who, and I'll ask Harley Rouda about this, he's the candidate who potentially will be running against Dana Rohrabacher. He's the Republican. He's been targeted for a flip, of course, and he's been in Congress as long as I can remember. Harley Rouda is a candidate who's gotten tremendous momentum to the point that the Justice Democrat who was involved in the race, Laura Oatman, has dropped out of the race and endorsed Harley Rouda. Harley Rouda, welcome to Rebel headquarters.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Now, didn't Dana Rohrabacher say, like, when he started his congressional service, hey, I'm only going to be here for 3 terms, and, you know, now it's 30 years later?
You got it. He's actually on air back then saying, I am going to be on terms of 3 years, 3 terms, 6 years, and now he's been there what will be 30 years when I beat him.
I mean, if ever there was a career politician, and I caught it, and I'm counting on you to beat him, but if ever there was a career politician, it's Dana Rohrabacher. I mean, I don't even know, his policies seem oddly aligned with Trump on Russia, isn't that right?
Absolutely, and we have this huge Russia cloud hanging over us nationally, but Rohrabacher has his own unique, weird relationship with Russia here in the 48th District of California.
Your background is interesting because you have a business background. You're a businessman who's had great success in business as well, yes?
I've been fortunate, yes, and I practice law as well, but I've been on the wagon for a while and not practicing law.
So what motivated you to get into politics?
You know, I think what happened in November of 16 was a wake-up call to all of us that we need to be engaged in the political process like never before. Regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, we need people who are willing to run for office, who will put country first, party second, and talk about issues instead of personalities. And for me, that meant stepping up and running for Congress. And fortunately, we have been thrilled as Democrats to see the outpouring across the country of quality candidates at all levels of government.
I mentioned that there's 6 Republicans and there's 6 Democrats still in the race. And Laura Oatman did, the Justice Democrat, pull out because she felt there were just too many candidates running to the point that it was defeating the purpose of possibly beating Rohrabacher. Well, it was splitting the vote, essentially, and that makes total sense. That also happened in one other instance, and give us a sense for that, the political side of this.
Yeah, so California, we have that unique jungle primary where the top 2 vote getters in the primary move to the general, regardless of political affiliation. So you could have 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, 2 independents, again, just whoever the top 2 vote getters are. And on the ballot, we have 16 people. And I've jokingly said all along, it's almost like a clown car up to this process where every time you open the door, another person gets out of the car and says, hey, I'm running for Congress. And so we're going to have 16 people on the ballot, 8 Democrats, 6 Republicans, 1 independent, and 1 libertarian.
And so these endorsements you're getting from other candidates who are dropping out are significant.
Yes, they are. And as you rightfully pointed out, 2 Democrats have dropped out of the 8 I just mentioned. One, Laura Oatman, and the other one, Michael Kotick. Both of them have endorsed our campaign. Both of them really wonderful people who have done a fabulous job of raising the awareness of the issues and the importance of this race across the district and beyond.
Now, these career politicians, I mentioned Dana Rohrabacher, career politician, and they just sort of are mobbed up with the system. If ever there was a political industry, it's embodied by someone like Dana Rohrabacher. What are the issues that are cutting through to beat someone like that?
You know, one issue that is always on the proverbial kitchen table is making sure that we are building strong middle-class jobs in our economy. And the Republicans have failed miserably in doing that, and Rohrabacher has failed miserably in accomplishing that in the 48th District. So that issue is always at the top. In addition, the environment. Climate change is real, contrary to what Dana Rohrabacher thinks. He's one of the few people out there who still does not believe that humankind is impacting climate change. In fact, I know you know the statistic, 97% of all scientists recognize that climate change is real. And I'm pretty sure if Dana Rohrabacher had a family member who was sick and 97 doctors said to do one thing and 3 doctors said to do another. I'm pretty sure what his decision process would be.
Well, to your point, also, frankly, even if you don't buy climate change, and as you suggest, I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a political reason. That would be the only. It doesn't make any sense not to, in the face of overwhelming that you've just cited, that overwhelming data. But as people get sick, as cancer rates rise, as it's clear that our polluting of the air, water, and land around us has physical effects on us. Leave climate change aside. I mean, it's really our own undoing. And so, to your point, in California, as you're facing a federal government that wants to lift the ban on oil rigs off the coast of California, there are a number of other sort of environmental assaults on the state of California. That's become something that's very important to you, I know, in reading about your platforms. I'm wondering whether that's connecting with the electorate.
It is. And, you really hit the nail on the head that even if those 3% of scientists are right and that humankind have no impact on climate change, the fact that we would have a cleaner, safer, better world trumps the idea that we should continue to spend money on fossil fuels. And here in Southern California, especially 48th District, which is coastal Orange County, I have yet to meet a Republican who wants to see more offshore drilling take place. So Rohrabacher is completely out of touch with the constituents of the 48th District.
What about those things that have to do with issues that might affect? I know that part of Orange County is very connected to issues like homelessness and illegal immigration. These are things that generally have carried the day for Dana Rohrabacher in the past. Where have you found wiggle room on these issues, and where have you found pushback on it?
Well, the homeless issue is certainly a big issue in our community and across California and the country. And the reasons that help contribute to the homeless problem are fairly consistent around the country. And healthcare is a huge part of the issue, the inability to access affordable healthcare. And it's a leading cause of homelessness in the country. So it's an issue that all of us are very cognizant of. In fact, my wife and I, early in our 20s, helped establish the first homeless shelter for families in our hometown. And the issue is as great as it's ever been, and it requires all of us to roll up our sleeves and take it on. And Rohrabacher just recently came out, and it's hard to believe he would say something like this, but he pointed out that it's a lifestyle choice, that people are actually choosing to be homeless versus being productive citizens. And nothing could be further from the truth.
That is the wildest thing. I've heard it also. I've heard it among those who connect with Rohrabacher in media and sort of rep that line. We saw a phantom elbow. Is Laura with you now or not?
So guess who just came in?
Is that all you see, my elbow right now?
It was just off screen. I don't know if we're set up to accommodate Laura now, but we did mention Laura at the beginning of the show. Laura's a Justice Democrat who did pull back and actually endorse Harley. And if we can get her in the shot, we'll talk to her. Otherwise, she'll be the disembodied voice. Can we speak? There she is.
I feel like I'm right in front of the camera here.
Yeah. Laura, you made a very, when you give yourself to a political candidacy, and it really is all consuming. And so for you to give it up and let go of it and then endorse Harley, I thought was extremely significant. Give us quickly, because we're kind of out of time here, but quickly, what was your thinking on that?
Well, a couple of things happened. I think when the second strong Republican jumped into the race at the last minute, and the real possibility of 2 Republicans, because we've got an open primary here in California, 2 Republicans on the ticket in November, was more than I could stomach. And for me, I needed to get behind the strongest candidate in the race. This is not politics as usual. This can't be treated as politics as usual. There were 8 Democratic candidates, and we need to make the wise choice. This is not about us. This is not about any individual. It shouldn't be about ego. It's a different kind of a race, and I decided that my time and energy was best spent backing the strongest candidate in the race, which is what I've done.
Well, that's a significant sacrifice, and we hope that it works out for Harley. Harley, I'm afraid we're out of time, but I want to give you the last word quickly.
Well, thank you for all your guys' hard work in spreading the message. It's important that we make sure the blue wave sweeps across the country, starting right here in California. And any support you guys can provide in helping me and Laura defeat Dana Rohrabacher, we'd greatly appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
all of us.
Harley Rouda in California's 48th. And for more information, you can go to the website. Harley's website is harleyforcongress.com. There's also a donation link and a volunteer link. And Laura Oatman and candidate Harley Rouda, thank you for joining us today on Rebel Headquarters.